Hello. Hi, guys. It's me, Eric Johnston, and we are back on a new, improved Eric Johnston Live. First of all, let's shout out my friend Dave, the graphic designer, also a musician, also gym rat, very good friend of mine, Dave, who helped me with a rebrand of not only my website, all my personal social media, my brand, my logo, but he also helped me with the rebranding of Eric Johnston Live. So let's give him a round of applause in the comments. My friend Dave Diedrich, he is a graphic designer. Make sure that you check him out. Now, this is a new and improved show. I mean, it's just the show, but I just took like 5 months off. And I also feel that I'm a little new and improved. Fresh haircuts and new shirts, new jewelry. Serb is treating me well. No, I'm broke. But I am back. I am back on the show. First of all, the chirps have started right away. My very good friend, Patrick Coppolino, good friend of the show, will probably be on a future episode of the show. Needs more Eric Johnston on the screen. There's only 4 right now. Is there 4? Hold on. I can count them. There's one, and then 2, 3. That's my dad. That doesn't count. Oh, wait, no, that's me over my shoulder. That's 4. And I believe there's a Splat-A-Lot thing here somewhere. Oh, it's underneath there. So technically it's 5. It's 5 Eric Johnston. This is just all the shit I had lying around my office. If I didn't put this stuff on, it would just be fucking a blank wall, which I mean, some of you would prefer, but that's fine. I want to say before I start the show, I had some special guests on the show. Also, you guys are going to see me doing this a lot. I'm not a crackhead. I got shitty contact lenses. We went, my eye doctor, I went today. My eye doctor and I were figured out. My eyes are all off axis. And so I'm going to be trying to readjust my contact lenses. So if you just see me keep touching my eyeballs, that's what's going on. I'm not frustrated, and I'm not losing my fucking mind. So we're back. And I want to talk about, before I start the show this evening, this 9:00 evening, it's dark. It gets dark at 7 now. I want to talk about why I stopped the show. Now, here's the thing. The number one way to create a podcast, the number one way to create a live show is to create a following is to not stop. If you talk to any podcaster or guys who do live streams or guys who do Twitch or whatever, the whole thing of the show is just whatever they just say, do not stop. Now, when I first started the show, it was at a pure desperation. The world had shut down, as we know, and as it's about to again. And I needed a creative outlet. I'm like a shark. If I stop swimming, I get depressed. I don't think that they die. Sharks actually die, but I don't die. I just get depressed. If I don't have a creative outlet of some kind, I turn inward, and it's not good. It's not fun, creative, funny Eric Johnston. It's sad, depressed. I'm a loser. I'm not going to make it, Eric Johnston. So I started the show out of absolute necessity. Now, to create what I did in that short amount of time, and I'm not tapping myself on the back for this. I'm known to do that. But to start something in the middle of a global pandemic and do only 10 episodes. I looked back, we only did 10 episodes in the springtime. And the last episode had 800 live viewers in and out. 800 people watched this show. And the reason why I stopped, there was a lot of things going on. The world was starting to kind of pick up again. We were getting into the summer months. We were getting into the late spring, and I was making dancing videos in my backyard. And I felt that the world wanted to go back outside. The world needed to return back outside, as did I. I wanted to drink in the backyard and go out and be social. And the second that the bars opened, we all did that and all that stuff. That was one of the reasons. The second reason why I stopped the show is because of what was going on in the world. Now, we're all well aware of what happened with George Floyd, and we're all well aware of what's happening with the Black Lives Movement, and we're all well aware of what's happening with every movement of every political stance in not only our country, but especially in that fucking dumpster fire United States. Actually, I'm reapplying for a U.S. work permit right now. I love the United States and everything about them. That disaster that was going down there, and it wasn't a good scene, and I didn't feel like being funny. I didn't think it was appropriate. I didn't think it was appropriate to do a Facebook Live show from my mom's house in Stony Creek and try to be funny. I know laughter is the best medicine, and I always believe that the show must go on. The show must always go on. I've had terrible situations in my life, and I hear about it at 7:00, but I got a show at 8, and the show must go on, and I believe in that. Now, when Blackout Tuesday happened, I had a show that night. Blackout Tuesday. I used to do the show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, going forward, I'm just going to do it on Thursdays for your future reference. So obviously, I didn't do a show. I didn't want to do a show. Not only did I not feel like doing a show because of what was going on in the world, but I'm the fucking poster boy for white privilege. I do this show out of a MacBook or a Mac iMac in a beautiful home in Canada, where I don't have to worry about, being arrested or being assaulted or being killed. When I get pulled over, I think about the first thought that goes over to me, and I get pulled over all the time. I'm on the road all the time. I drive all of Canada. When I get pulled over, my first thought is, I wonder how many jokes it's going to take for me to talk my way out of this. And I've probably been pulled over 20 times in my life. I probably have 4 tickets because I know how to work and talk to the cops. And hey, I was just driving to the show. It's actually not too far from here. You and your wife should come. I make them laugh. I try to make jokes about speeding or, whatever I fucking do on the road. And I usually get out of it. And the reality that a lot of people in this world face is that that's not their first thought. Their first thought is not, how am I going to joke my way out of this? Their first thought is, am I going to live through this? Am I going to survive through this? So obviously I did some reflecting on that. And I decided that for that night, the show didn't need to go on. And the terrible thing is it didn't stop. There was no easy fix, and there is no easy fix for what's going on in the world. It didn't just, okay, well, we did our Blackout Tuesday and everyone's aware and everyone posted black squares and half the people got in trouble for it because it was pushing down the Black Lives Matter movement posts and people. You couldn't do anything right. As much as you tried and as pure as your heart was to be a good person and all of that, you couldn't do anything right. So I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want people to say, hey, he did this at the wrong time. I've always prided myself on my timing, and I've always prided myself on my intuition. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. I can feel that. And sometimes that's anxiety. Anxiety says this isn't the right thing to do, and those are different situations. But in your heart of hearts, if you know that something doesn't feel right, don't do it. So Blackout Tuesday happened. Okay, I have a show Thursday. Thursday hit, and some more stuff went on in the States. Okay, I'm not doing a show Thursday. The next Tuesday. Okay, I'll do a show next Tuesday. And then it was just back to back to back to back to back of shitty stuff happening to wonderful people around the world. And I didn't feel like being funny. I didn't feel like doing a show. And it just didn't feel right. And I have no other way to describe it other than that. It just didn't feel right. Now, as time went on, as the summer went on, things started to pick up for me. I didn't want to do a show because I was interested in doing live shows again. I did the Eric Johnston Campfire Comedy Tour, which you guys were a part of. It was one of the episodes of this show is when I first came up with the idea to do the Eric Johnston Campfire Comedy Tour. I did 10 people's backyards across Ontario. From there, first of all, I want to thank everyone who booked me on that tour. That was a lifesaver, both financially and spiritually for me, and to able to give work to bring my guys with me, Michael Moses and Jason Allen, my comedy brothers, to have that experience with them, and have that with them. That meant a lot. The camaraderie, the brotherhood of a traveling stand-up comedian was back, and it was a fucking shot. Like the scene from fucking, I don't know, what's that movie with the chick and the drug, John Travolta? You know what I'm talking about. Pulp Fiction. That's what I needed. I needed to focus on live shows. Then after that, I went on a 5-week tour. 1 week in Kingston, 2 weeks in Ottawa, 2 weeks in Toronto. Now those clubs are now closed due to the stage 2 that's happening to us all. And my thoughts and prayers are with them. They're a great company. Jason Lawrence has put me on the road many times, and he's put a lot of money in my pocket. And he's made me a fan base in cities like Kingston and Ottawa. So I love them. And I love what's happening for comedy. I mean, what was happening. It was a resurgence. Things were happening again. Now things have stopped. Things have slowed. Things have halted. And things are going back, it sounds terrible, to normal. Because we were in that fucking shitty, restrictive stage 1, stage 2, full lockdown place. That felt normal. It's almost like we were kids who got to go out on this really big long recess, and then we fucked it. Someone got hit in the face with a dodgeball, and they're like, all right, get the fuck back in here. And we're all like, okay, we'll go back inside. So things are normal in the sense that now it feels right to do the show again. Now, things are not normal in the United States. Obviously, you guys are seeing what's going on in the world with politics and Trump and Biden and the fucking debate and what's still going on now with people, what's going on with Aboriginal people out east and stuff. But I think that now it's time to just kind of not let it settle, but let some normality in my life, come back. And that, I don't know if that sounds selfish, and this is the main reason why I brought this show back. I did this show again out of necessity, out of love for the people. The same people have come back. The people who were watching the first 10 episodes are here in the comments, and I see you guys, and I love you. Karina and Rob Tobacco and Patrick's fucking chirping, but that's his thing. And Chuck. And one of the reasons why I brought this show back was for Chuck. He said, so happy that you're back. Thanks, Eric. I'll give Chuck a huge shout out right now. I headlined Levity Comedy Club last week, and Patrick Coppolino's club. And I headlined just an amateur night just to work on some new stuff. And I've got some great new material that I'm doing now that I'm very excited about, which will, I don't know, come soon. I don't know how that works. But after the show, Chuck was in the audience, and we sat down for a beer, as I like to do with people who I know who are in the audience after the show. And he sat me down very seriously and very really and said, I don't think you realize how important that show was, not only to me, but to a lot of people. He goes, I would look forward to that show every week. I was in a tough time, not only with COVID, but in life. And your show was like a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I believe that that's true for him. But when you're a comic, you just every night is a show. Like, you don't realize what you're doing for people, because it's a very selfish life to be a comedian, to come on and do your act, because it's you want people to laugh at you, and you want people to listen to your story, and you want people to hear what you're talking about, but you don't realize what you're doing for people. If I have a piece of my act that reminds them of something that's from their life, and it's the truth from their life, it's healing for them as much as it's healing for me. And I know for sure, Chuck, no problem, is one of those people. And I know I have a lot of people like that in my life, and it means a lot to me. So I brought this show back because we're going into stage 2. I need a creative outlet, but I didn't realize how much people cared about this fucking thing. And I'm dead serious when I say that. And that can sound very egotistical. Oh, people couldn't live without your show. But if someone comes up to you and says, I looked at your show like a light at the end of the tunnel, that means something to me. And that means something to everyone. So let's fucking laugh. And let's let the show go back on. This was a 17-minute TED Talk. The show is back on. Eric Johnston live. Gin and soda? Actually, gin and 7. We didn't have any soda in the house. Now, sugary. I said my piece. I said what I wanted to say. There's 22 people still watching. There was 24 when I started that TED Talk. So I don't think I lost too many people on my serious talk. Grease is loving this right now. Let it out. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes a comedian doesn't have to be funny, all the time. He can talk about real things going on in his life. And this is a real thing. My mom says, "Do you want me to bring your glasses?" No, Mom, I can see kinda. And 10 years of branding, I didn't. Eric Johnston doesn't wear glasses. Okay, so I don't want to wear my glasses, but I am getting new glasses. Maybe I'll wear those. But thanks, Mom. She's downstairs. She's 3 floors down. But so the show is going on now. My messages are going off like crazy right now because I have 2 guests set up who are having some problems getting onto the show. This seems to always happen. I'm all excited. I'm like, I got guests. And then they're like, bro, I can't get the stream to sound it's not working. I've tried 3 different browsers. Let's go. Okay. So I had guests lined up. Hold on. Let's see if it's doing do it on your phone. Do it on your phone. Okay. If I don't have any guests, you know what? This episode might just be fucking me having real talks. But let's talk. Let's talk about love. Corona love. Tonight's episode, all these episodes seem to somehow being about dating or actually, Patrick, if you want to come on in the intern, I can send you a link right now. All these shows always end up somehow being about dating or being single or people who are, I'm single. I wasn't single for a bit in Corona, which I'll talk about. Fucking guys, I'm sorry, guys. I'm very professional. Usually these things are lined up way easier, but when people don't know how to work their computers, it's tough for me. It's real tough. So I have 3 guests, I think, on the show. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. This show sometimes ends up being, most of the time, my best episodes on the show are somehow related to dating. Because I'm single and I'm experiencing dating. I'm experiencing dating through Corona. I'm experiencing dating through this pandemic. I'm experiencing dating from being a touring professional stand-up comedian. I experience dating, and I often think that dating and dating talk, it's single or relationships or that kind of stuff, that kind of drama, as my grade 10 drama teacher would say, that kind of drama, people are interested in, because even if you're not single, you remember being single. You were definitely single at one point in your life, so people want to talk about that and the issues that come with dating. So I have 2 guests. One is single like me. Another one just got married during the coronavirus. And buddy, let me tell you something about this guy. He's one of my favorite friends. He's one of my favorite comedians and one of my best friends in Canada. We just did a 2-week tour together, or I did 2 weeks. He did a week of it, headlining, and doesn't matter. We were together for a week in Ottawa. And I don't know if you saw the viral video, I should have pulled it up, of us dancing on the Instagram to Saturday night. He's going to come on quickly and tell his story about dating, not dating. He was dating. Now he's married, and he got married during the fucking pandemic. And I know this was very stressful for him because I was living with him for a week and it was stressing him the fuck out, because think of an Italian wedding. You have 500 people. Try to reduce that to 25 Italians and see how that goes for you. He's our first guest, and I'm having him on quickly before I bring on our next guest. I'm having him on quickly now because he's flying out to Edmonton to do the Edmonton Comedy Festival. He's one of my best friends in the world. Please welcome, Marc Anthony Sinagoga, everybody. Whoa.
What's up, bro?
You look at you. You look like a supply teacher. You look like
I do look like a supply teacher. That's great. Is it the golf shirt?
It's the golf shirt. It's imagine being a supply teacher for Zoom calls for classes.
That would be a disaster.
Is Morrow there?
He is.
Get him on the line. I just want to see Moro.
Hold on, let me see if I can. Dad, you're famous with this guy here for the outburst of when I yelled your name. Moro!
Okay. While we're here, we'll talk about this quickly. About Marc Anthony Sinagoga's Instagram page. He's got some great videos of messing with his dad, Moro. You can follow him at not Marc Anthony. He's not the singer. Now, listen, I'm gonna have you. I know I have you quickly. I want to hear about you getting married during the pandemic. It was just a couple weeks ago. So tell us about what that was like for you.
It was a little bit of a disaster. I mean, I love it. You caught me mid-packing here, everybody. So I apologize. I'm fucking running all over the house.
Just walk through the dark. That's fine. This is the Blair Witch Project Italian edition.
Fuck. One of those. But yeah, thanks for having me, Brian. I apologize. I'm all over the place here, but
it's okay. I know you have to come on quick and leave. I want to hear your story about getting married during the pandemic as an Italian. Because there's a lot of Italian viewers watching the show right now. A lot of Stony Creek Italians. I know one for sure. Rob DeBacco. Oh, Robbie. You can find him at the Barbara Cafe drinking espresso any day of the week. Okay. So yeah, just go to any room and slam doors.
Buddy, it's loud over here, bro. Everybody's fucking. What are you doing? Anyways.
Okay, so let's have a seat and fucking tell your story. Or you don't have to sit down. I know you're.
I can't sit down. I'm one of those. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you just
stop moving. I'm gonna throw.
Yeah, you just give all of our guests vertigo. That's fine. Go ahead.
Honestly, it was a good time, man. I mean, I'm happy that we did it. I was really upset about pushing it. Like we had to move the initial wedding, which was like the big Italian wedding, to next year. Thank God, like legit, if it wasn't a legit pandemic, we would have lost our entire deposits and been fucked out of like 25 G's.
That's low for an Italian wedding. Yeah.
No, that's a low number of deposits because I don't want to say the real number. But
you're not paying. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, most of the stuff that I was referred to is we were paying for, but so we had to move that. The venue was nice enough. They're like, we'll reschedule. If you cancel, you're going to lose everything. So we rescheduled to next year. And then, all of our grandparents are like fucking, a solid winter away from death. Yeah. And so they're, we had to do it for them. They're all in their mid to late 80s. So we were like, okay, and they were all like, oh, what do you mean you're moving it back? Like we might not be here for next year. And started giving us that guilt trip. They've been saying that for 15 years. Every Italian knows. Yeah, once they hit 80.
When you were like 13, they're like, Marc, when are you going to get married? Because I'm not going to be around too much.
Well, yeah, that, and then they go, this might be my last birthday, okay? And you're like, okay, it's not. You're 70.
Blow your candles. I don't want to waste the bread.
Exactly. So we moved it, and that was good. And to me, I was like, listen, if we're moving the wedding, then that's when the wedding is. It's next year. Like, we're moving it. We're getting married next year. I don't want to do a wedding now and then a wedding then. It's like,
yeah, that's actually very Munja cake thing to do with a couple elopes. And then like 6 months later, they're like, hey, we're throwing a party and you got to give us money now.
Yeah. I mean, so we did keep it to immediate family, and that line of immediate family, dude, I was listening to you before you brought me on.
Yeah.
It's rough because everybody gets offended. And like my grandmother, my Nonna, all of her siblings are still alive, and we're all close. So they're like, what do you mean we're not coming? Of course we're coming. Where is it? And then like, people are showing up, and obviously with the pandemic, you only keep it 25, keep the masks on. And like, then you have family that are just being fucking degenerates. I don't know if I can swear on this, but like,
you've been on this show before?
That's true. Yeah.
I think you called me a fucking moron on the last episode.
Yeah. For not watching fucking Rocky 4, but
well, either way, yeah, that's I still haven't seen it. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, yeah, it was a disaster because I had some family members that were really really pushing the limits and saying some shit because some of them weren't invited and some of them were. So then some other family members get offended on other family members' behalf. And you're like, dude, you can't all come. You're all coming next year. That's the real wedding. They're like, no, but if you're getting married this year, you're fucking married. And I'm like, no, but we're not. Like we are to the town, but we're not like, in the church or whatever. And then they pick and choose like, well, I guess the church is all that matters. And you're like, you know what?
You always got to lay the church on those kind of people.
Oh, 100%. You got to be like, listen, it's just for the church. And we moved it to next year. And this year is like, I'm actually now thrilled that we did it. Like, I was fighting her up until the day of. I was like, this isn't the real fucking wedding. Like, I'm wearing some Bush League $30 suit that I found online. Like,
send me a link for that. Thank you very much.
Legit. Yeah. They actually worked out. But, the food was okay. It was a last minute venue. And dude, the venue actually pulled out like 3 days before because of COVID. And like, we were scrambling 3 days out. And obviously we couldn't have it in the backyard or in anyone's backyard because the numbers went lower. So that's why the initial place canceled. So it was just like, every day, 5 different family members calling every venue, from a family-owned restaurant to a Pizza Hut to a fucking golf course, like
cheese, Palladium,
exactly. Palladium's last fucking Frankie Tomatoes, rest in peace. But, you know what I mean? So it was like everybody was calling everyone. They're like, no, we're going here because that's fucking. I know the guy who used to know the guy who works there. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. My cousin worked in the kitchen in 2003, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You're insulting me. Yeah, you're insulting me and our family if you don't fucking come eat here. And you're like, great. And then they're like, we'll do everything for you. And then you're like, okay, well, how much will you actually do it? And then Italians, you can't ask them a question because then they don't give you a legit answer. You're like, well, no, how much will it be? They're like, the sky, how much? Come on.
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
can do anything. What do you want?
Yeah, you're like, no. I'm comparing prices, bro. I need to know the price. And they're like, come on, bro, don't insult me. I'm like, dude, I'm not signing a contract unless I know how much it is. And then they give you the price and it's like double everywhere else.
Yeah.
And you're like, thanks for wasting 4 days of my time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna bring in the scallopini, so that's gonna be more.
Yeah, I got these frozen scallops if you guys want them.
Well, I won't say too much about it, but I will say this. When we were living together for that week, first of all, we had the okay, sorry, Matt. Every time Eric rubs his eyes, take a drink. You guys will fucking die. Okay.
You got
don't worry, these contacts are they'll mold. Don't worry, I got new ones coming in next week. So okay. When we were living together for a week, first of all, we had a blast. The shows were fantastic. You killed your headlining week. I'm so fucking proud of you.
Thank you,
idiot. Sir. I had to shake you and be like, you're fucking so funny. But
it was tough, man. I had family members yelling at me literally while I was before.
You had external stresses affecting your stand-up comedy shows.
Yeah.
Mentally. On a stage, you were fine. I thought you were fantastic. Probably some of the best I've ever seen you. But you're like, you come on stage, you're like, these fucking people, I can't fucking focus. I'm out of it. Like, you just kept walking around the apartment going, I'm out of it. Now, which was true. But
yep.
I won't say too much about it, but I'll just a funny quick story. You were in your bedroom fucking losing. Like, I've never heard anyone yell like this on a phone call in my life, and I grew up Irish Catholic and Polish Catholic.
But I've told this story like 8 times since you showed me that video.
So I've never, and this went on for like 25 fucking minutes, and I was like, eventually I'm like, he's not gonna believe me by how much he's yelling. Put it this way, you were through a wall with the door closed, and it was like you were sitting right next to me. You were yelling so loud. And, whatever. Buddy, you're a fucking bird. Blah, 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 blah. Just like losing your shit.
And you filmed me through the wall.
I filmed you through the wall just to show you and send it to you. You've sent it to more people than I have.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just so I could show you. But the best part, the punchline of the whole situation is you fucking... Blah, 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 we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna blah, 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 blah. You come out of the door, you're sweating, your fucking shirt's ripped, your headphone was around your neck, and I'm like, who the fuck were you just talking to? You're like, my fucking mom, bro. I almost shit my fucking pants. It's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. Oh, man.
That was a mess. We ended up doing that like 11 more times on the drive home, bro. It was brutal. It was such a mess, man. The most stressful time of my life by far, and it's driving me nuts that it got pushed back another year because now it's like there's going to be a lingering, final planning and whatever. Wedding planning, by far the most stressful time ever. But now that we're married, it's totally worth it. I mean, I feel like we're on another level. The families are. We get more respect. It's almost like this unwritten seal.
It's like you guys got made. You guys got made into the family by signing up.
Exactly. Yeah. And all of a sudden, everyone loves us and respects us more than they ever did. They're like, we always knew this day was coming. You're like, dude,
you're like, we've been dating for 17 years. Leave me alone.
Exactly. I'm like, it's the same fucking thing, man.
Oh my God. Okay, buddy, I won't take any more of your time. Marc Anthony Sinagoga is flying to Edmonton tomorrow morning. What's your flight?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Okay. I fucking hate flying, and just thinking of what you getting on that plane is giving me anxiety.
It's all of us, eh?
Yeah, it's all because when
all the comics are on.
When you're a comedian, you fly so much that one thing bad happens, and then you're fucked for the rest of your life. You're stressed. All you equate flying is to a stressful time until you get there, and then you have a good show. Marc Anthony Sinagoga at Not Marc Anthony. You can catch him out. He's at the Edmonton Comedy Festival starting tomorrow, and then he's got a whole West Coast tour. He just posted the poster on his Instagram. So if you are out west, or you know anyone out west, and you want to see my very good friend Marc Anthony Sinagoga, I would highly recommend go see my bro. Right, bro?
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it,
bro.
Great
trip. I love you. I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, buddy. Okay. All right, man. Take it easy.
See how quick that is? Once you get the fucking... Once you get it, go. Mark's making a funny face. He's still in the lobby. His nipples out. Okay, that's good. So once you get the technology going and you get the people on the show, it's fucking great. First of all, before I bring on my next guest, and the next guest is going to bring us home. Unless anyone wants to come on the show, I would highly recommend it. I will put the message in the. I will put the. Sorry, let me start that over. Let me take that again. If anyone wants to come on the show, I will put the link for the StreamYard streaming link to come on the Eric Johnston live show. If you want to come on the show, the link is now in the comments. 1 second. I'm just clicking paste. It's been copied. Now it's being pasted. This is the link to come on the show, come on with my next guest and talk about. So if you guys have gotten together, or you've fallen in love, or you've broken up, or you've gotten married like Marc Anthony, or you've gotten divorced like some people I know, I'm not gonna name too many names. I know at least 3 people during this global pandemic, COVID-19 coronavirus, and want to be on this episode of Corona Love. Rona Love, I think I called it Rona Love. Please click on that link. I'll put you in the lobby. I'll see you. I'll reference you. I'll bring you on the show as soon as I can. Our next guest is a very good friend of mine. Probably one of my longest friends in life and in comedy. I've known this guy since I was 11 years old. Originally a friend of my sister. Now I've stolen him, and he's a friend of mine. When I first started comedy, he was a very good, motivator, inspirer. He was my... what's the wax on guy? He was the guy. He showed me the ropes originally when I first started doing stand-up comedy. Told me what to do, where to go, who to call, who to message. And we started doing comedy together. Then he moved out to the Grand Cayman Islands for, I believe, 7 years, and hadn't done comedy. He recently came back, and he hosted the Eric Johnston Live at Tweetside show. And he didn't host. Did he host? He hosted. And he fucking killed. He did so good. And I'm so proud that he's back, and he's now here with us on Eric Johnston Live. Please welcome my very good friend, Jordan Armenise. Jordan.
Thanks, buddy.
What is that, a pheasant?
If you know, you got to get up to date with your Italian culture. Everybody knows Italians have stuffed pheasants in their houses. So
everyone does?
Everybody knows. Everybody's got a stuffed pheasant.
Thank you for figuring out your camera and being on part of this show.
I felt like such a boomer. Like whatever those playing StreamYard. Like get your
StreamYard.
Shit together. Like how many times I gotta like turn my computer off and I don't know, whatever.
Okay,
but,
maybe because you're using a 1998 Microsoft one that's in Frank's office. That's been
this is a good one to do all my videos on this one. Anyway, thanks for having me on.
Of course, our very good friend Chad Legree says, Jordo.
What's up, Chad?
He's my mentor. That was the word I was looking for. Thanks. And Chuck says, Mr. Miyagi. Yes, we get it. Chris says, going to bed. Good to see the show back, Eric. Thank you very much. You need lounge passes? I don't know what that means. I can't remember what we're talking about. As again, the drinking game is every time Eric rubs his eyes, take a drink because I got shitty contact lenses in. Before we get into the rest of the show, I'm going to bring up Jordan's social media information. Jordan, at Jordan Arms and Knees. Not only is a accomplished, hilarious stand-up comedian, also a radio show host and the photographer, videographer, branding expert. So if you need anything done like that, photography, videography, branding, any kind of like stuff like that, fucking message Jordan. He puts together great videos. He's the lead video guy for Swimming Canada and does a great job. Jordan,
yeah,
we're here.
I wish I stayed in Cayman for 7 years. Oh, by the way, guys, anybody that's watching, nobody calls it the Caymans down there. So if you ever get a chance to go there when we're allowed to fly, be cool and call it Cayman, and people will think you've been there before. So
Cayman, the great Cayman. So okay, man, I will call it the Cayman.
There you go. So.
The Kramers. The Cayman.
There you go.
Thank you for that travel update, fucking Anthony Bourdain over here. If you guys ever go,
if you do,
the Grand Caymans. Okay, so this show is called Rona Love. I know you're back in town. I know you're single, dating, going out there, experiencing. I want to know if you have any stories about dating through the coronavirus. I know you told me one story where you brought 6 beers and only ended up drinking 1 because you were so unimpressed.
That's a good one.
If you want to go into anything like that, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, after I think it all kind of came together. So after not living in this country for 4 years, coming back, what a crazy year to move back, right? It was already going to be kind of, challenging in the sense, I've kind of fell off the face of the earth for 4 years, come back for Christmas. You only have 3 days to see people. So it was already kind of challenging. And then I moved out to Toronto and, you try to meet people. I'm like, it's going to be great. Got work. I'm going to be socializing. Got the Bumble, the Hinge. I got them all lit up, ready to go. And then COVID hits. And it's just as I'm getting going, it's you can't see people. You can't meet people. It's just it was on top of already trying to reconnect with people and meet some new people. It was a disaster, especially for dating. You're right. I did meet somebody. I met someone I think it was Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, I think she wanted me to come over to her house. I'm like, it's Christmas Day. I haven't lived in this country in 4 years. I'm
I have some family to see.
Yeah. So,
priorities.
Yeah. So I was but after a while, I'm just geez, I just want to go out and do something, but before it just Corona and just totally screwed online dating. But yeah, I did end up meeting that person and definitely felt catfished. Her picture, I realized why her pictures were taken from such a high angle.
Top down. That's the Eric Johnston trick. And put your arm in the way of your body as well. That's also one of my tricks.
Dude, it wasn't top down. This was bird's eye view. You know what I'm saying? I was who took your what drone took your pictures? Jesus. So,
it's a telescope, reverse telescope, reverse peephole, Sylvia.
I don't know what that was, but yeah. So that didn't hit it off. So that was one date. Another date was this was when weather was nice, slightly. I think it was when Corona was in remission, or maybe before. I can't remember. Yeah. But or maybe it was after. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, going to Woodbine Beach in Toronto, and there's 8,000 people. I don't know if you've ever been to Woodbine Beach.
No,
no. It's insane. It's insane. It's every bush party you've ever been to. Remember bush parties? Holy shit!
Yeah. Well, so, I can think of a couple: the Fruitland Road and the Green Hill Res.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, try to meet a random person there. They're oh, can't you see me? I'm in a yellow dress. I take a look and I'm oh, I see you. And then it's oh, do you see me? No, I don't see you. I'm gonna take off. Get a quick peek. You know what? I don't see you.
You know what? That was a different guy. It was a guy in a yellow dress. I'm sorry.
Someone else. But
I've never done the pull see them on a kind of a blind date or a catfish situation, then pull to shoot. I've never done that. I feel I commit. I'm a big commit to the bit guy. So if you're doing something, really go for it. Because here's the thing I look about anything in life, in dating especially. You could have a good experience, a good kind of Corona date wherever you go. It's when your first things were Corona, it was you want to go for a drink? It's yeah, where? It's well, the bars are closed. I'm and I live at my mom's house. So do you have a place? And then she's yeah, well, I don't really have guys over on the first date. I'm I respect that, but we really don't have any other options. But I've always believed in, go for it. If it's a good situation, good. That's great. You have a good evening and you have some fun and you whatever happens. But if it's a bad situation and it's terrible, I always see that as just a piece of material now. Like now I've got a story to tell, and now it could be a joke. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I got tons of those.
go
Tons of those. Back in the day, like met another person on Tinder. Let's meet at Starbucks. Sure, no problem. Shows up. She's like dressed in jogging pants. Like I thought it was like a joke or something. I'm like, and so she's like, I don't like Starbucks. And now I've got, okay, well, I'll just drink these 2 large chai lattes. No problem. I'm tired anyway.
I spent $17, so yeah, I'm gonna have to drink these.
Yeah, no big deal. I could have mentioned something. Let's go downtown, get some sushi, whatever. She's like, I'm not hungry. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? I'm like, you know what? Let's go walk around downtown. You'll blend right in. You know what I mean? You didn't dress up or anything. So, and then
let's go to Jackson Square. You can probably get $5 off somebody.
I don't know. This is the weirdest date ever. Farmers walking around the farmer's market. I've never been there like since. I don't live down there. I don't shop down there. She starts shopping. And like in 5 minutes in, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, this woman's doing her grocery shopping. Like she's got like 5 bags and shit. And I'm carrying like 2 of them. I'm like, are you hungry? Did you build up an appetite yet? Like we've been here for 40 minutes. Like it's just a suggestion. And go for sushi, and then tells me some weird story about getting a tattoo and like being so painful. She's like that she like peed her pants. I'm like, you know what? Like let's just get the check and get out.
And you used to take girls to that really expensive sushi place.
Can't buy, man.
Yeah, can't buy it. Not an all you can eat. It's an a la carte place. It's like yeah.
So, but
basically she just needed a drive to go grocery shopping.
I guess. Totally. Didn't even bother wearing like some sort of denim or some sort of like cargo pants. Like I don't know.
Were they like gray joggers like you get at Walmart? Was there elastic on the ankle?
She was wearing like moon boots. Like she looked like Napoleon Dynamite. Like it's like she was putting in no effort, like on purpose, just to see like what happened. I'm like,
she wanted to see what you were really made out of.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. Great meeting you. I don't know.
While we're paused for a sec, anyone who's watching the show, I forgot to mention, I haven't done this show in like 4 months. I forgot all my usual bantery things that I say to the audience. If you guys are watching the show and you like what you're seeing, I mean, how could you not? Eric Johnston Live is back, 9:00. If you like what you see, please share this stream. It takes you 2 seconds to share it, and it'll bring up the viewership by 10, 15 people. And it will expose not only myself, but Jordan to an audience that maybe had never seen us before and had never heard us talk and never be funny before. They follow us. They come to shows. It's all happy for everybody. It takes you 2 seconds. Please, if you're watching the show, please share it. I remind you, click, share. I appreciate it. Now, have you been so I told you my story about how I fell in love during Corona. Did I not? Remember in the backyard, the nurse?
Yeah. That didn't turn out very good.
No, it did not. Okay. So I'll run you through it and you can chime in as you please.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
Okay. So I have a pretty steady online presence, not only with I
am on the internet.
I am
Let's see how broad I can make.
I am of the internet. So not only with with dating apps, if we're talking about Rona dating, with Twitter, Tinder. I've never hit anyone. I've never picked up anybody on Twitter. You can't do much in 140 characters. But on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, I've got all 3. I use them. I have fun with them sometimes. Sometimes it's a disaster. Now, I find that I get a majority of my dates and a majority of my sexual situations through Instagram. Instagram DMs has become the place where it goes down in the DMs. I believe that's a rap song. I get way more, and not even just dates, just chatting with attractive people, both guys and girls. It goes down in Instagram. Now, I did a live stream like this, but for Mohawk College. And it was called Eric Johnston drinking coffee at his mom's house during quarantine. And it was basically just a comedy Q&A for the radio broadcasting students. And then they opened it up to any of the students of Mohawk College who wanted to join in and watch this live stream. So I do a live stream, and it was great. Got some followers and got this random follower of this girl. It doesn't matter. Her name was Jen. And and she's gorgeous, like literally stunning. Looked like Michelle Pfeiffer. And I was like, okay. And I don't know what Michelle Pfeiffer looks like, but I feel like she looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. She looked like a fucking movie star, is what I'm saying. And she follows me. I follow her back. I do my usual creepy mode, like who's this girl? And I like three or four of her pictures, and then she like 3 or 4 of them back. I did to her what Nicole Todd did to you, actually. Like it, like
I totally called her out.
She's watching the show right now. She said, "Is Jordan doing dumpster fucking during the pandemic too?" That's a darker story of mine that won't be told on the show this week.
I don't do that. I'm classy. I take
sometimes.
Faux. It's like an Asian elevation. You go faux, then you go August 8, and then if you're lucky, you go to the a la carte sushi.
Ooh, kampai. So yeah. She follows me, follow her back, and then I think it's pretty clear on my social media profiles that I'm a big fan of The Sopranos. I mean, I have a fucking Sopranos plaque next. Yeah, where's the camera?
No,
there we go. I got a Sopranos.
Noticed it.
Yeah, I'm a big Sopranos guy through and through. I've become part of this online Sopranos community with all the fan pages following and sharing my stuff. And so, anyways, she messages me about The Sopranos. She makes like a Adriana and Christopher reference about us, and I was like, "What?" Wow. And she's
listening, paying attention.
I'm like, she's watching my every move, and so we start talking, and then she says something about like, "I saw you on the Mohawk stream. I thought you were really handsome. I wanted to get to know you." I'm like, "This is not real. This is not. She's too attractive. This is too easy." Where the fuck is Ashton Kutcher? Like, am I being fucking punked right now? I was convinced for days that I was being catfished. Like, not even by a lesser looking woman, by like a 50-year-old man. I was like, this is. She only had like 20 pictures on her Instagram that only went back a couple months, and I was like, I don't know, this might not be real. So I'm still like, I can't give this up though. I can't be like, fuck you, old man. So we're still chatting, and then I suggest that we FaceTime, which I never do because I have a big fucking face, and when you try to put my face into this amount of space, it doesn't look good. So I said we should FaceTime, and we did, and she answered, and it was her, and as or more attractive than her pictures, and I was like, what the fuck? So your mind goes to, well, there's got to be something wrong with her. This is too. She's too attractive. It's too easy. She likes me. She must be crazy. So anyways, we meet up for like a COVID distance driveway date, and we hugged at the end, which was null and void of the distancing. And then on the second date, we went for a walk on the Burlington beachfront, trolling on the Burlington beach.
Wow.
And I decided within 20 minutes of her, I'm like, she's gonna meet my mom today. Like, she has to meet my mom. I'm in love with this fucking chick.
What?
Yeah. I was like, we're going back to my house. I know my mom's up. We're gonna have a glass of wine with my mom. I just know that this is great, and I care about you already. I would like you to meet my mom. She did. She came over. She met my mom in like fucking a half hour. Kat's like, who's in the backyard? Like, what's going on? And then we were just gonna sit out back, and then Kat's like, yeah, it's getting a little chilly. Just come inside. And I was like, all right. So then now we sat with Kath for a bit. Then she went up to bed, and then we watched a movie. We fooled around, whatever. And then after she left, I'm like, this is my girlfriend. This girl's gonna be my girlfriend. This is it. I don't know how this happened, but I have a girlfriend now. So we went on a third date, and then we officially became dating. And I started doing the show, and I was doing shows about like being single, and I wanted to tell like stories about being single and turn-ons and turn-offs and woulds and won'ts and stuff. But I knew that she was watching, so I felt stifled. Anyways, fast forward like I don't know, a week or two, and we decided that we're gonna go to Niagara Falls for a night and just check into a hotel because COVID pricing for Niagara Falls is fucking cheap. It was like the penthouse suite at the Hilton was like $130. So I was like, we're checking into a suite. We're in the jacuzzi. Anyways, long story short, we had a great night. And here's the thing. I knew that it was crazy, but she was equally as excited as I was. Like she was pushing. She wanted to meet my friends. She was like she wanted to be in pictures and stuff. Like she was like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. When you know, you're in love. It's great. And then we came back from Niagara Falls, and then like 3 days later, I never heard from her again. She just vanished.
Yeah, you did such a great job. Yeah. I'll never meet another person like this again.
Yeah, it was just like she was supposed to come over on the following day, and she's like, "I'm busy tonight." I'm like, "No problem." The trip was called the next day. I was like, "Where are you?" She's like, "No, I ended up doing this." And then she's like, "Okay, I'll be at your house at 3:00." At 3:00, she's on like a bike ride at the Burlington beachfront. I'm like, "So you're not coming over?" She's like, "Yeah, not tonight." I'm like, "What?" So I was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't think you're ready for a relationship." She's like, "Yeah, you're right." Block, 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 delete, gone. It was the strangest start and end to a fucking relationship I've ever been. It was like 2 weeks long, and she met my mom and most of my friends, and I think we were telling each other that we loved each other. It was fucking crazy.
Intense. Do you think she's watching?
No, probably not. I think she has to be blocked.
Shame, Eric.
And then she disappeared. I was expecting you to jump in there with more witty banter, but then right in the middle of the story, I'm like, this is going too long.
No. I've heard the story. I just wanted to hear it again. Yeah. It reminds me of like the year 2009. I used to work at Bell Canada, like the corporate office downtown Hamilton. I used to see this really attractive.
Hold on, Kath just hit us with a banger. She said maybe she didn't like your mom.
Oh, no way. That's impossible, Kath.
How could she not like your mom?
Impossible, Kath.
No, there was no fight. There was no nothing. And usually, just before you go into your back, I'll just go back to the story for a second.
Yeah, it's cool. My story's not as good.
Like when you're like, when you're deep into something and you're like, oh, and it's like something bad happens and you don't realize it. And then after like 2 weeks later, once the dust settles, you're like, oh yeah, that was the exact moment that was over. Like, you know what I mean? You could really like narrow it down.
Yeah.
But there was fucking nothing like that. It was great. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to marry this chick. I was like, I literally started planning like, okay, so we're going to date for 2 years. Then we'll probably get engaged. Then we're going to be engaged for at least a year. Then we're going to get married. And then in 2 years, I want to have kids. Like I started thinking like that. I was like, my dad had me at 37. And I think that if I have a kid by 37, I kind of follow that same track. That's how I was thinking. That's how crazy this girl fucking made me. And then she was gone. And the best part about it, I forgot the tagline. To this punchline to this story.
Mm-hmm.
While we were dating, I said, like, I've never seen you on like Bumble, Tinder, or Hinge or anything. And she's like, no, I never would have anything like that. I just don't think that's our organic way to meet someone, even though we met on Instagram. But she's like, yeah, I wouldn't do it that way. You would never see me on an app. You would never see me do anything like that. I just think it's cheesy. I think it's hokey. I don't want to be any part of it. I was like, okay, cool. So when she vanishes, I'm like, okay, classic guy move. I'm like, I guess I'm single again. Fucking re-download. The first person I see is her on all three fucking apps. And I'm like, so I just super liked her on Tinder and fucking super liked her on Bumble.
And you gotta sign up for super likes on Bumble. So
buddy, I'm paying. I when I'm traveling, you can do that travel mode on Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge. You have to pay for that, buddy. I'm pumping out
$12 well spent.
Buddy, I'm $200 a year and fucking I'm dating. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were talking about
that was funny. That was good.
You were talking about
maybe she was separated. Maybe she was like in a relationship and on a break, and she just wanted to like have some freedom for 2 weeks. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, she paid for the hotel room, so fuck it.
There you go.
She paid. She's like, I'll cover the hotel room. We'll go for dinner. Then we get to Niagara Falls and none of the restaurants were open. And I'm like, we'll order in. I'm like, what do you want? She's like, McDonald's. I'm like, perfect. Fucking $18. Okay, I'm sorry. You were working for
no. That just reminds me of like one or two stories where it's like you really hit it off with someone, and then it like stays in that particular day, and like you can never recreate it, and you don't understand what happens. I remember
Chasing the Midnight Cowboy,
right? I don't know what that is, but that's not.
I've heard it on TV. I think it has to do with cocaine.
Cool.
To be honest,
tomato, potato, either way.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no. So like the year was like 2009. I was working at the Bell Canada call center. I was ripping darts. So I was like, you know, in like full mid 20-ish, like kind of lifestyle, mid to late 20s.
Is that when you were doing steroids too? When you were like fucking jacked?
Get out of here.
Okay, sorry, you never did steroids. Anyways, is that when you were jacked?
Yeah. So, brutal.
Sorry.
God, this guy.
Oh, I dropped myself. Go ahead.
You know, there's a part of the gym past the weight room, eh, Eric?
Yeah, buddy. Douche. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, no, I used to see this like attractive girl outside when I would smoke, and then eventually I worked there for like 2 years, and after a few months, I finally had the nerve to go up and talk to her, and we hit it off. But like, she was dating, and like she like made it clear she was dating somebody that lived an unsavory lifestyle. Like this person was either like a criminal or like a biker or something. Like,
ooh,
she
classic
was like,
dangerous.
She was like, stay away from me, but like also come talk to me every day when you're smoking.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
This went on for like weeks, and then finally I just like went in the elevator, like to like we were, you know, she was in the top floor and I was like in the middle floor, and then we were just together in the elevator. And then we just started like making out of nowhere. Like it was
Get
like
out.
months of like sexual tension, like in this elevator. And I could see like her floor was like 9. It was like 4, 5. So I'm like, I was there like 6, knowing that like when that elevator door opens, like it's over. Like I'm never gonna get a chance to make out with her again. And then the door opened, like someone was there, and she's like, "Okay, see you later." Like this never happened, and like I honestly like stopped seeing her as frequently after that, and like I never saw her again.
Buddy, that would run through my mind for the rest of my life, as it does yours.
The sexual tension and
in an elevator. I think that's a fucking Aerosmith song, like "Love in an Elevator" or something. I don't know how it goes. I'm a really good singer. Yeah, that's nuts. That sounds like a really fun time. Like, for 4 floors.
4 floors. It was amazing. It was really
B
good.
4 floors. You're like, if you get down on me, I'll get down on you. You should have hit the fucking emergency stop.
I'm trying to like go back. You know, like there's a myth if you hold the door closed button on an elevator, it'll just like keep going. Like, but I don't think that works. I think it's just a myth. If you're in the elevator repair industry and you're in this,
is there any elevator guys in here?
Any elevator specialists watching right now? My brother-in-law watching.
Oh man,
funny. Let's talk about comedy or something. Like, let's just talk about. Do we have to talk about relationships?
No, we don't have to. I mean, the show is themed, and I like to try to stick to it. But what do you want to talk about?
Theme? I don't know.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's kind of. We don't have to talk about relationships. I think you know we can talk about comedy leading to relationships. Like we don't have to talk about the times you've dated girls, but like have you experienced the Kavorka of killing and picking up a chick in the audience?
Oh yeah, like that was probably one of the best things. Like hosting at when Yuck Yucks was on Upper James. That was like one of the best things is like the rush that you would get from like all that stage time and all that great crowd work. Cause like for me, like I know you always make fun of me because I'm like before tweets out, I'm like, shit, I gotta write new jokes. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, but I don't like writing jokes. You're like, it's kind of a part of the gig. Yeah. I'm like, what? I can't do 15 minutes of crowd work. And then actually it's funny because if I had gone into that show like without preparing like I did, it wasn't like a typical show. Everyone was like 100 feet away. It was cool.
Yeah, you needed to do bits.
Cats game. Like, it was ridiculous. So like if I didn't write 12 minutes of new material, like I would have been like I didn't have the interaction, you know. So.
And some of the people who are watching the show right now were actually in the audience and can attest to this. You did.
Nicole?
Yeah, Nicole and some. Well, my mom wasn't there. I think just Nicole. But. And maybe Rob DeBacco. No, but
was he there?
No, I wish. Yeah, I wish.
I used to see Robbie every single time. I used to like walk from St. Clair Park from my house on like Green Road, and I used to walk by his house every single day for like a year or two or something like maybe longer. And I used to like. I think he used to ask me for butts all the time. Sometimes I'd give them to him, sometimes I wouldn't. So.
Oh, Cheryl's watching. She was there. It was cold. It was cold.
Yeah,
it was freezing.
Cheryl, #1 fan. Yeah,
but you did great, man. For taking I guess a 6-year break from comedy. Mm-hmm. You did 1 or 2 warm-up sets at Levity, which were to know people. So that's not a good play to warm up. And then to throw you in front of 100 people in a farmer's field and it's 7 degrees and to get the response that you did, I was truly proud of you. Very proud.
Yeah,
and I know it sounds weird because you're older than me and you helped me get my start. And it sounds like, oh, I'm so proud of him. But, you know, in reality, you taking that break is like now you're starting over. So now I can say things like, dude, that's great. I'm proud of you. Like, let's go. Like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing about comedians is if you do comedy more than 3 times, you're addicted for the rest of your life. Really, if you ever quit comedy, you're just taking a really long break. And you'll come back to it. I think if you do it once as a dare, or like once I see guys do it like an open mic because they lost their football pool and they're you got to do stand up, which is degrading to the business. But I think you know, I think if you do it, if you come back, if you get through that initial rush and you come back and you want to do it again, if you come back and you do it a third time, you're not a comedian in the sense that you're doing it all the time, but in your mind, there's a part of you that's a comedian for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
and I believe that. Justin was there, best only show I saw this year, so he was there. He loved it. You killed. I mean, I killed too, but that's an old hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting because like you know, like before when I first started stand up, it's like you know, you have to be in it for the right reasons and you have to enjoy it. I think when I first started, I was so dead set on like being amazing and like making a living. I think the reality is that it's very difficult to make a living doing stand up, and I think that's what's great about you is that you do make a living performing. It's very difficult for anybody that's watching.
Yeah. Well, I live at home, but I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, I still
no, I say now
source of income, right?
It is. All my bills are paid with comedy, is what I say.
There you go. So, and thank you, Kath.
So,
there you go. No, it's not.
And I don't pay any groceries or heating or air or internet or any of those. But my car, car insurance, gas, what else?
Yeah.
Cell phone, 407, everything's paid with comedy. But go on.
Yeah, I was saying, you know, like when I first started, it was like you're just like dead. I think when you kind of grow up like as a funny person, like, or I hate this term, but class clown, it's like you kind of feel like a responsibility to feel funny your entire life. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I am around friends or like family and like I'm not joking, like people think it's like people, my friends used to make fun of me, like, oh, like I'd be like, oh, like I'm just listening. Like I'm just, you ever, you know, like Goodfellas?
Yeah, you're like Henry. I'm just listening.
Henry's always
shut up. You're always talking.
Yeah, right. But it's like true. It's like sometimes you want to take a break. You want to turn it off, right? And I think if you're not in comedy or like performing for the right reasons, which is to enjoy yourself and kind of enjoy the experience, if you can't like take the positives out of like having a joke not work, like I used to go into it with like a sports mentality because I was an athlete for like as a kid, and like after I found
CYO basketball champ,
right? 1994 athlete of the year. I may or may not mention it like a lot. So,
but I will pause for that and say that you've turned both of those worlds into a career where you're a sports analyst comedian. So those two worlds have come together, and you know we do the sports radio and talk radio and stuff, and you need to have your own sports broadcast. When you start talking to me about sports and stuff, and I don't know anything about it, I'm like, yeah, the Buffalo Bills are kind of close to here.
Love those Bills.
Yeah, I like their jersey. I rate a team on how their jerseys look as a color, like how the color scheme looks. I'm like, that's very nice.
That's so funny. That's like somebody has a joke. I think Chris Rock has a joke where it's like oh, I like how the blue guys is like when he watches. It's so sexist, but like when he watches sports with his wife, he's like, oh, I like the blue guys' outfits or something like that. Or but yeah, no,
you butchered that bit. But go on.
Chris Rock isn't listening, and you know what?
Who cares? Okay, go on.
But yeah, it's an interesting space. Like
you came into comedy as a sports.
Like
guy, sports mentality,
right? So, but it's so tough, man. Like even like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it's like people that you're seeing right now, like Dave Merhaj, who you see on like Mr. D, and he's doing a great job. Like I used to do open mics with him, and like when he was first starting, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys, and like it really, it's a labor of love. Like you're sacrificing a lot. Like your entire soul, your being, like you're like, we used to drive from Hamilton to Toronto and like try and get on these open mics. And you could spend the entire night chasing a spot at an open mic, and like 6 hours later, you have nothing. You have no performance, but at least you got to hang out with people. Like going to trying to get on that Yuck Yucks Toronto show. like the amateur night where they would make you
Tuesdays
leave
night
your
call
name
in.
on a voicemail, and Jack Norman would be like, the message would be like, call back after 3, and if your name's on it, on the voicemail, you got a spot on the show. And then they would read, and it's like every day for like years trying to get on that show, and it's like it's punishment, right? All you want to do is perform, and it's difficult, and it's like after a while you're just like it's hard to get reps, and it's still hard to get reps now. Like imagine with coronavirus, like people can't even perform. Which is why
I mean, I worked my ass off to work this summer, and I did. I mean, you came to a couple, and you were on the one, and that was, I needed that as a creative outlet and stuff. You know, when you're describing becoming a comedian to anybody, you know, if someone's like, I'd like to get into comedy, what's it like? It's like, okay, well, for the first 5 years, you're not going to make any money. Zero. You'll be lucky if someone offers you a chicken wing and someone splits gas money with you. That's a good night in comedy for the first 5 years.
And you might hate yourself.
And you're going to take a very extreme mental toll for the first 5 years.
Huge.
It's still every day, but you know, for the first 5 years, it's the worst because you're awful. You think you're good. You know, I had the benefit of coming in with an acting and musical theater background, and as did you. So the commanding of the stage was more natural.
It's easy to get on stage when you have acting training, right? It's easy to like. You're not like I think for a lot of new comedians, you go up there and you're like you start to like panic a bit, like butterflies are natural, but like when you forget something, you're like have you ever heard a comedian go up and they're like, and they kind of like are frozen for the first 3 seconds? When you have performance reps in, like you and I do, like it's a little bit.
As soon as you step through that backstage, as soon as you get onto the stage, you're on. That's it.
Like you can just like go up and talk shit, and like you don't care. It also is personality driven, right? Like I can say something, and I can just like I don't care what people think. You just keep rolling, right?
But yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, like guys like you and I did have that benefit of having the performance background, so it wasn't as scary for us. But yeah, the first 5 years you're not going to make any money. You're going to be depressed all the time. You think you're going to suck. You think you do suck. You think you're never going to make it. Then after the next 5 years after that, I'll be 10 years as a stand-up comic on November 1st, which is approaching soon. About 6 or 7, it was about 6-7 years in, I started to make money. And for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been making money steadily as if I was in the trades, but I'm a comedian and watch The Price is Right every day. But there's a good, and I'm extremely lucky, and I'm an extremely hard worker. There's guys who kind of half-ass it and still don't make any money. Like there's guys who are 15 years in who are like, I don't know, I'll figure it out, and then they never figure it out, and then it beats them down.
There's also in the first 5 years, I think I read about this in the book called Truth in Comedy. It's one of those ones I recommended to you on MSN Messenger when you first started.
Thank you for the recommendation.
It's a great book because it talks about the unreal audience, and it's like when you first start comedy, what do? I mean, Eric, you did it like in your first 5 years, comedy in the creek, right? You invite everybody you know.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And it's like the unreal audience kind of like gives you an artificial idea of like if you're funny or not. And of course, like everybody there is supportive. They're going to laugh at like and if you have too many of those people at all of your shows when you first start, your ego is through the roof. And it's like, it's like you never really get a good gauge of like, of like how funny you are. Right. So like same here, like I used to invite everybody to the Upper James Amateur Night, and like all these the Great Canadian Laugh Offs, which I used to find out were rigged after, which is really a pain in the ass because like you really want to win those things because they're really like a true like stamp on like whether or not you're funny or not, to have like some sort of award. But
an accolade.
But that was all. I think the first 5 years, it's like you're trying to get real reps in, you're trying to meet people, you're trying to prove yourself. But it's like you want to get on good open mics like the ones in Toronto, but it's like if you tank there, then it's like you're probably not going to get a spot for like another 3 months like on a good room, right? So
yeah, I don't know. I've been lucky. I've worked hard, and now I'm at the point now, and I don't care how this sounds, that I'm at a point now where a guy like you helped me get my start and told me what books to read, which I didn't read, but who to contact, and you told me find this Manolo Santanos guy, he'll help you out, and he did.
The Godfather.
And then you told me about the booking process for Hamilton Yucks, and you helped me with this, and you helped me with that, and now I'm at a point now where I've continuously worked for 10 years and built a career and made a life and made a living and all that stuff. Now it's an honor for me to bring you back back with me and get you back started again and get you back on the road. And you keep writing those. If you got a strong 15, you can be my tour opener, because I'm going to lose Jason or Moses very soon. They're getting way too funny to be my openers.
Yeah. I saw he's gigging with like Tim Nutt.
And Jason's flying out to Edmonton as well.
Yucks hitters, eh?
Yeah. So, but anyways, let's close this out with because it is a relationship show. I mean, not a relation, not every week. I don't know, just something, because we're just talking shop about comedy right now, and
fun, isn't it?
It is fun, and I think it is for people to get an insight about our lives, but also we're losing people. So
are we? Sorry, guys. Like, this is, I don't know, relationships.
No, I don't think you have to talk about relationships.
And Eric. Like, what do you want,
I think, I told the story about my Corona love. I think dating in this new world is going to be fun, but I've also noticed that people just don't give a shit. Like, people are just like, I don't care. I'm still going on dates. I'm still hooking up with people. I'm still going on Tinder. Still been going on Hinge. I'm still doing all that shit. And, as much as I want my mom's inheritance, I'm not trying to kill her. So I'm trying to be careful, but I mean, I'm not wearing a mask on a date. So, I mean, I'm still going out. I'm still having fun. I'm still meeting people. And I know that you are too. And I think that's it, man. I think that's the show.
Cool. Way to bring us home, Eric.
Oh, I brought us home. I'm going to bring you out and I'm going to close out the show. And that's it. I'll be back next Thursday. Dude, thank you for coming on. I love you, man. Jordan Armenise, before you go, I will bring up he's already up there, but I'll bring it up again. Jordan, at Jordan_arms_and_knees. You can listen to him every weekend on AM 640. And also you can follow him online and see all the stuff he's doing. And also you can see what we'll be doing together, because it's an honor to have him back in the game. And I really fucking pushed him in it. We were having a glass of wine in the backyard. I'm like, hey, you're hosting this show on the 19th. You're on the poster, so you're doing it. And he's like, okay.
Eric, the next show, let's debunk coronavirus myths or do something like that. Let's do something newsy. Let's get some traffic. Let's get people.
Let's do some conspiracy. The next episode is conspiracy theories.
Well, listen, you saw my. I actually deleted it. I put up case numbers for COVID, and I had a bunch of people. It was like a 200 comment thread of people going back and forth. So it's definitely interesting. It's not there's some in it, but
everyone has a voice now, man. Right? Everyone thinks they can say everyone thinks that they can say whatever they want without getting punched in the face these days, because it's all over the internet. In Hamilton, you learn if you don't want to see something that's going to get you punched in the face, don't say it, because you'll probably get punched in the face. Those days are over.
Did you talk about that? I know you're trying to wrap the show, but did you talk about that? You know that guy on The Bachelor? I know that guy. Eh?
You know him? Oh, yeah, this is a great way to wrap up the show. So he's on The Bachelor during Corona.
But this
Bachelorette,
guy,
sorry.
He's a Turtle Jack's bartender that my buddy used to be a general manager at Turtle Jack's. It was close to the other restaurant I used to work at. I used to sit at the bar they used to serve at, just a regular dude. And when I saw that guy, I'm like, holy shit, that guy is on
yeah.
I had to text my friend who worked with him at TJ's, and I'm like, is this the Canadian Bachelor? And she's like, no, it's the American one. I'm like, no way. I'm like, this guy's groundbreaking. This guy's a trendsetter.
And he's the Canadian it says from Hamilton. He's from Burlington. I don't know why
he's from Burlington. No, he's from Burlington.
I appreciate.
He's a very nice guy.
He seems super nice. And he's the first guy to get the first kiss on the first night of the Bachelorette in COVID. He had to go through a 2-week quarantine. They all had to get tested. And the guy fucking snaked a kiss right in there.
That chick was giving him shit. She's like, you broke the rules. You sent me a message.
Oh, yeah. She's like, but I love that you did that. And he's like, all right, we're making out. So it looked like me on the absent patio.
That's great. Damn.
Yeah, so maybe we'll bring Blake on. Maybe have him on the show. I
can book it.
I already had Kyle Andrew Skinner on here from Canadian Bachelor Canada, or Bachelorette Canada. So anyways,
for people that are on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I'll be on there soon. Someone's like, you should go on Big Brother. I'm like, I've never seen it. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to be the guy that everybody hates.
Of Bachelor and Bachelorettes, and periodically, every 3.5 seconds, a dude takes his shirt off and just starts making a sandwich.
Nice. That's
everybody takes their shirt
I live in the Big Brother house.
Could be what's this guy doing?
Perfect. Jordan Armenise, everybody, thank you so much for coming on. I have a feeling you'll be a recurring guest because we both don't have much to do these days.
I'm busy. All
right, he's busy. Everyone, actually, yeah, Jordan Armenise, follow him online for all your photography, videography, and branding expert needs. Also, AM 640 every weekend. Goodbye, my friend.
Later, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We did it. We're back. We took, I don't even know how long the fucking break was. I think my last show was in like May or maybe June. But you know what? An hour and 16 minutes fucking flew by. We had some great guests. We had some great stories. We had some great laughs. And that's how easy it is. If you build it, they will come. I've always said that. If you put on a show, people will show up. If you do a Facebook Live show, people will show up. I'm curious to see how many live viewers we had in between the whole show. We've had a steady number between 20 and 30 and 15 and 30 the whole time. So that's different people coming in and out. This first episode is for Chuck. Chuck, he said, thanks, bro. Chuck is the reason why I brought this show back. And one of many reasons, but he really had a fucking stern talking to me and said, I need you to bring that show back. And I said, you know what, Chuck, I will. I'll be back next Thursday and we'll have a new theme. We'll have new guests. I'll be back every Thursday at 9:00. Eric Johnston Live is the show. This was great. It was healing. It was soothing. It was we got to talk some shit. Chad says, thanks for coming back. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's still watching along, who watched the entire show, who shared the show. As always, I love you all. We had some laughs. We had some stories. I'll see you guys next week. Eric Johnston Live, 9:00. I don't know what the theme is. I don't know who the guests are going to be. But I didn't know that this afternoon either. And we had a fucking great show. I'll see you guys. I love you all. Take care.